It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It is the Jill on Money show. It's the first weekend of April. Happy April Fools. There's no fools around here. Come on, I know better. This is the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life, and we do that by asking you to send us a question. All you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and you click the Contact Us button. It's right there. And once you fill out the form, once you've actually asked your question, the next step is to decide whether or not you'd like to join us on the air live. And we love when you come on the air live with us. It's just a better experience, I think, for you and also for the listening community and also for me and Mark. Oh, and by the way, Mark, he's the executive producer. He is also a certified financial planner, as I am. And we just love to have the questions that are maybe causing you some concern. I know it's been quite a volatile March, crazy month behind us. You never know when the next crazy event is going to occur. So what can you do? You can get the other parts of your financial life taken care of. You can really focus on those things over which you can exert some control. And that's why we encourage you to join us here on the air live. Hey, while you're on the website, a whole bunch of fun things. Number one, you can subscribe to our brand new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. We just had our first live webinar. And if you would like to be part of the next live webinar, all you need to do is subscribe to the service, pay you $35 for the year. Pretty cheap, huh? And you will get access to quarterly live webinars and lots more special content. That special content is being developed as we speak. So check it out. That's all on our website. And you can also sign up for a free thing. Our free weekly newsletter comes out every single Friday. Okay. Now let's do this. Let's go and talk to Jay, who's on the line from Minnesota. So what's going on, Jay? How can we help you out?
Okay, so I had a late start to my career. I did my PhD, so now I'm having a real job, a full-time job, and trying to catch up a little bit.
Okay.
And I have some kind of anxiety, friends told me. So I don't know if it's, too much, or should I slow down a little bit,
Mm-hmm. How old are you, Jay?
I'm 30.
What do you mean a late start? Like that you're young still.
A lot of my friends will be, starting working around 21, 22. So
I know, but you are working full time. How much do you earn?
Right now, 88.
Is that, is this the kind of job where you're going to be making a lot more money, or do you feel like, 88 with sort of cost of living increases? What's the trajectory for you?
Right now, I think it will be just very stagnant, around 2 to 3% every year increase.
Okay.
I have a very stable job that I won't get fired if I don't do anything, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have the skill set to get a job in the tech industry if I want to change, but that's not in the plan yet.
Okay, not right now. Okay, I got it. So on your $88,000, are you putting money into retirement?
Yes. So I started last year and I maxed everything out that you can think of. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. So you make 88. What are you putting into a 401k, a 403b? What kind of plan is it?
So the employer have a 401a, which I contribute 5.5. That's mandatory, and they will contribute 10%.
Ooh.
So that's already 15%.
Okay.
And last year I had 403b maxed out, and now it sits around 26K.
When you say max out, you put in 20. So wait, I just want to make sure I get this. So last year on $88,000, you maxed out your 403b at $20,500, plus you put 5.5% in the 401a?
Yes.
Wow. That's that's a lot of saving on 88 grand. Are you doing pre-tax or are you doing Roth?
It's Roth.
Okay. All Roth. Okay. So what are you living on?
And that's not it, because he also did an HSA.
Oh my God, you have an HSA? What'd you put in there?
I am maxed out.
Oh my God. Wait a second. Do you rent? Where do you live? Do you live in a cave? Where, I mean, you have to
No,
have cheap rent.
it's a very new building. They built it 2020, and they have a lobby. They have gym in this brand new apartment.
What's your rent?
1,495.
But you're saving like crazy. Are you just not? Is this the anxiety? Is this the immigrant? Like, oh my God, I have to save every single dollar because if I don't, I'm a failure. Because you are saving a ton of money and you're only 30.
Because I kind of want to retire early. Like, I want to be able to retire early.
How early?
60, 65. Oh, wait, that's for retirement.
60 would be like normal. 60. Okay. 60, 55, 60.
Although I love my job, and my job kind of gets better when you get older. So I don't know why I want to
You
save
just want
that
to
much.
be able to. In other words, like I like what I do, but I want to have choices.
Yes. And
Okay.
also I feel like I want to buy a house. I have to have family, have kids. And with my income, maybe in my late 30, in my early 40, I don't have that much capacity to save that much. So also the market seems to be cooling down right now. So I think, I should contribute as much as possible when I'm still able to,
So you're like, I'm single, everything's great. I might as well sock it away now. I'll have more choices later. Is that what
Yes.
Okay, cool. How about money that's not in retirement? So you just started out. Do you have money in like an emergency reserve fund?
I have 10K in IBAN and 5.5 are in the money market, considered as savings. And I have a brokerage around 9K. I'm not contributing to that because I don't have extra money. And I also have a retirement IRA, the Roth IRA. I started around 2017, and right now it has around 48K, and I'm also maxing that out.
I'm dumbfounded. Mark, did you hear it? This is like I am just absolutely gobsmacked by how much money you're putting away. So you're saving so much. I get it. Like while I'm young, while I have capacity, while I don't have a spouse and kids, I want to have a lot of money pushed into savings. I want to buy a house. So all of this is amazing. I mean, I'm a little worried that because the one thing I wrote down when you first started talking was that you said something about you feeling anxiety. Where is the anxiety coming from? What do you feel anxious about?
I feel like most of my peers, a lot of them work in tech industry, so I always feel anxious about my income level.
Yeah.
That's one part of it. And also, I don't know, I just feel like I'm late to the game,
We'll get back to Jay in just a second. If you've got a financial question, just go to the website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. We'll do the rest. Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to take the mystery out of your financial life. We're trying to soothe your nerves as well. So many of you will contact us and try to understand what kind of options you have ahead of you. I think that's the whole point of this program. It's also why I wrote my book. The book is called The Great Money Reset, and it is really a result of many of the questions that you all asked me here on this program and also on our two other podcasts. That said, when I start talking to someone like you're listening and maybe you're hearing the questions that I ask, but if you were to give us a holler, what I'll often do is I'll start with some very basic questions. But you'll know that every time that we ask these questions, the responses lead us in one direction or another. And what I want to remind you all about that is that you each have a unique situation. And in order to understand what your options are, you really have to contact us. We've got to run through this analysis. And if you want to do it yourself, of course, you can buy the book, The Great Money Reset. But otherwise, come join us. We'd love to help you out. Again, just go to JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Right now, let's get back to Jay, who's on the line from Minnesota. I need your older brother, Mark, to come in here because I'll tell you why, Mark. I feel like I'm going to be a little I'm almost like too old for this question. So, Mark, I want you to just walk him through a little bit of what's it like to be a single guy? And you know people who made a lot more money than you did. And you also saved a ton of money, Mark. So why don't you talk a little bit about how Jay can give himself some relief?
This is very much the immigrant mentality. I get this because I know a lot of people like this. I never really cared about what other people made. I never looked at what other people made. It never bothered me. You know, those people might make more money, but I guarantee you they're probably working like animals to make that money, whereas you're in a job that you actually love doing and you enjoy it and you want to keep doing it. You can't really put a price on that.
Exactly. And they might be making more money, but I guarantee you very few are saving as much as you're saving. Very few, because I'm looking at this. I'm just doing a rough calculation. You're saving probably close, 30 to 35 grand a year, 35 probably on 88. Okay. I mean, and maybe that's okay because maybe you live in a low cost area, maybe that's all fine for you. But what I can tell you is you've got to stop. Mark's right. You cannot compare yourself to someone who is, let's say you have a friend of yours, you went to school and you're like, oh, my friend works at Amazon. He's 32 and he's making $400,000. Okay, fine. How much is he spending? He's not telling you about that. You are really kicking butt. You are doing what you should be doing. You've got to give yourself some permission to simply enjoy the fact that you are doing a great job. Do you feel like you are living in a way that oh, this is terrible, it's depressing? Are you feeling like I'm saving so much that I'm just not having a life?
No, I love my life. And I feel like although I'm frugal, I still, go travel, go anywhere that I want. I guess during my master training and my PhD, I was not paid a lot. So I already have that habit or lifestyle of being frugal, but also enjoying myself.
Yeah.
So it's already a huge jump from my PhD salary. I was living on 30K salary in
right.
Philly.
I was basically paid like a servant, and now I'm actually have a job. I mean, I think you have to just give yourself permission to feel okay with where you are and stop looking at anyone else. I mean, I can do the same thing. I can look at people who stayed in financial services who make 2, 3, 4 times what I make now. But I made a choice, and you're making a choice. If you want to go chase the dollars, you may find yourself less happy in your career. And if you found a career that you really like, and you said you like what you do, why would you put this strange pressure on yourself to compare yourself with someone else? It's not worth it. And, you're saving a ton of money. You are going to have a lot of choices. Even if you just sort of creep up a little bit, as you said, just some cost of living increases, as long as you're happy doing what you're doing and you're saving this much money, I guarantee that whoever you find as a mate is certainly going to be more impressed with the fact that you are a happy, content worker than the amount of money that you have socked away. And you will have already socked away a ton of money. You've done an incredible job.
I just ran the numbers, James, for the next 10 years. So forget until you're 60, but just from 30 to 40, if you keep at the current savings rate, by the time you're 40 years old, it's going to be about $700,000 in all those accounts.
And you're 40 at that point. That's still so young. You still have 10, 15, 20 years to go. And you know what? If you feel like you're tempted to go into one of these higher paying fields, I'd be careful. I would talk to a lot of people about that and understand what it is they give up to get that extra money. I'll give you an example. I know a 33-year-old guy works at Amazon, right? He makes a lot of money. Absolutely. He makes probably, he's a programmer. He probably makes around $400,000 a year. All right. He does not have the ability to take a weekend off. There is no off on weekends. Zero. That's not happening. He works every single weekend, at least a few hours. When there are holidays, because of like what he does, he has to take some holidays and work. If you love what you do, that's great, but there's a trade-off. And that might be a trade-off that you may not want to make. And you don't have to because you're saving money. Even if you buy a house, it's not like you're not going to be the kind of person who goes from spending 30 grand a year to $300,000 a year. You're just not. It's not in your, it's like not in your DNA. Be careful who you marry, though. That might be in that person's DNA.
Yeah, I will take care of that. But also, where should I pull back, though? Is it 403B, Roth? Because I sometimes feel like money can be tight. I can feel it. But I also can find ways to just live by, you know?
If it's tight, then pull back on the 403B. You don't have to max the whole thing out.
Exactly. I mean, you're saving a lot of money. I like having a little of the brokerage account. I do like that because I think that'll give you some opportunity. You need a brokerage account because you do need to save money for a house and you need it to be not in retirement. So I agree. If you're going to pull back on anything, it would probably be the 403B. And you have the 401A. Like, honestly, between those two, if you look at the 401A, right, 15% is going in there, right? Because you work at a place. That's, by the way, another thing is that, yeah, I make $88,000, but you probably have good benefits. You've got them putting 10% of your salary into their retirement account. I mean, there's a lot going on that's good, okay? And if you pull back on the 403B, and maybe you don't have to, like this year, you would be maxing at 22.5. So put 15 in and give yourself a little bit of room. And you'll have money in the money market. You have money in brokerage. Start building that up a little bit. Don't kill yourself. Don't take all of the money that you're putting in the 403B and then, I have to save that. You don't have to. You can spend a little bit more money, but you need to accumulate some money in non-retirement assets so that you can actually afford to buy a home when you're ready to do that. But by the way, how much would you spend on a house if you were going to buy a house?
I'm thinking at most will be 400K if I'm single. Okay. But if I find a partner, then, it might go up.
So this is what I think. I think you need to cut yourself some slack. You really do. I think that you are in amazing shape. You are hardworking, but you also don't discount the fact that at age 30, loving your job is amazing. I don't know so many 30-year-olds who love their jobs.
Thank you. It's good to hear that.
Yeah. Try not to compare yourself to others. I know it's human nature, okay? But when you feel that way, remind yourself, yeah, okay, those people make 3 times what I make. And I love my job and I love my life. Like you're not calling us saying, I hate what I do. I need to get out of this. You like what you do. It's Jill on Money, the program that tries to help you make better financial decisions and to minimize that anxiety. Jill on Money will be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we love to answer your email questions as well. So if you've got one, shoot us a note, jillonmoney.com, contact us. Right now, let's go to an email. This is from Anonymous. Hi, Jill and Mark. With a large number of online banking institutions now providing high-yield savings accounts that are earning as much as 5% interest, could you please discuss in detail exactly where to verify the legitimacy of these banks and a checklist of what to look out for in order to make the best decision possible? Very specific. I'd like to park my money short term in a jumbo savings account, not CDs. And I want to use different banks for FDIC protection as I plan to buy a house later this year. And I want to maintain liquidity. I've asked my financial advisor about this, and he told me to check on bankrate.com for the information. His suggestion didn't sit right with me. Here's what I think. Number one, if you don't want to do savings, if you don't want to, like, you're really freaked out, why don't you do T-bills? I don't know how much she has, but it sounds like a lot of money, right?
Yeah, because she's worried about FDIC.
Yeah, right. If you're worried about FDIC protection, which is, what is it, $250 per account, right? Is that still the amount? Okay, so it's $250 per account. So if you're talking about $250, $500, or $700, just buy T-bills through your bank, and you'll be able to do it. Let's see what it's a T-bill yielding these days, this minute. T-bills. Freaking 5%. 5%. Come on. Unbelievable. I would just pop it into T-bills and not worry about it. What do you think, Mark? I'll take that, right? I'd take 4%.
I know there's a lot of people out there, they just like chase every single percentage point they could possibly get their hands on. That's just not how I'm wired. I can't go crazy with this stuff.
And the other thing is so if you go to Bankrate or depositaccounts.com, your advisor's right in one respect, which is as long as they offer FDIC protection, it kind of doesn't matter about the bank, does it? As long as you can buy a product or open an account and there is FDIC associated with it, then you should be fine. But if you're really nervous, buy a T-bill. I remember during the financial crisis, there was like this surge on T-bills because people really thought financial institutions were going broke. It sounds like you've got a lot of money here, so that's what I would try. Okay. This is from Allie, who says, Dear Jill and Mark, what do I do? I'm going to move to France this fall. Is this our girl who called us about moving to France in the fall? This is a different one. We really do attract the Emilys, don't we? I'm going to move to France this fall, possibly to settle there for the rest of my life, but I'm not sure yet. My question, what should I do with my house in Florida? Oh, this is interesting. I own it free and clear. It's worth about $280,000 to $300,000. My property taxes are $1,400 per year. Homeowners insurance, $1,000. What is windstorm? Oh, it must be other insurance, $2,800. The ladder, a thorn in my side. Oh, this is all. This is just like another kind of property and casualty insurance. Okay, so she's 66. She's got a daughter who will be married in May. She's been divorced for a long time. My daughter would love for me to have a home for her to visit when she travels to Europe. Oh, how nice for your daughter. However, I'm not sure if we both might feel differently about my living so far away if they ever have children. That's what airplanes are for. I'm unsure whether I should rent it out again, meaning her home, or just sell it. If I ever decided to return to the United States, I don't see myself coming back here unless it is for the lower cost of living. Zillow says I can get $1,800 a month for rent. She's got an annual pension of $25,000. She's withdrawing $24,000 from her Vanguard accounts, which total $1.2 million, $225,000 in a Roth, $60,000 in a brokerage. The rest is in pre-tax IRA, 60 stocks, 40 bonds. She says, I'll be taking Social Security in the fall when I turn 67, another $34,000 a year. She's got $15,000 in emergency reserves. Okay, let's see. I had more until I forked over, quote, my share of the wedding expenses. You know how I feel about that, Mark? Not good. Working on bringing up my emergency savings to a more comfortable $25,000 before the end of the year. My rent in France will be around 26 euros monthly, $2,800, and she'll have to pay utilities. I can get the rent down to 2,000 euros. So let's just see that, let's say 20. So let's say that she ends up needing $4,000 a month, okay, in general, right? Because it's rent and then she's got to live there. Her health insurance will be working there. That's great. Okay, she's anxious about selling the house, even though I have no attachment to the area or the house. I feel like I need to keep my foot in the real estate market in the U.S. I also have a nagging psychological reason, like selling the house is severing my relationship with my country. Oh, Allie, a true Floridian. I'd sell the house. I got to tell you, right? I just would. First of all, it's expensive to keep the house up. It's a pain in the neck. And it's certainly, if you don't want to be You're not going to be able to like manage it from France. So you're going to have to hire someone to keep an eye on it. That's going to cost money. It's going to eat into your rent. If you really don't care about that area, so what? You're not going to be severing your relationship with your country. We love you. You're going to actually have to pay taxes. So you'll always be a proud American just for that. And if you made a mistake and you want to come back, so what? Come back and rent, and you'll see where the chips fall. I don't think that holding this house makes a ton of sense just because you don't even want to be here. It's like an asset sitting there doing nothing. You're never going to lose the ability to buy. You can always buy a house, okay? But I'm not even sure you need to. Maybe you've got a little wanderlust. You want to like go out there and do stuff. I think that'd be cool. Just do that.
If she decides to keep it and rent it, after you factor in the taxes and the insurance, she would be making about $16,000 a year in income.
I mean, that's good. It's just you have to have someone to take care of it. That's the thing. Wonder where the daughter lives.
That's decent. That would reduce the amount that she has to take out of Vanguard.
It's kind of up to you. It's almost like the emotional aspect of it is also important. Not just like having a house, but not so much even the am I an American? But if you feel like that gives you a little bit more security going abroad, knowing you could always come back to a place, even if it were for an interim period, then that's fine. But, cash is also can provide a lot of security. So it depends kind of how emotionally you need to be assured that you have a place to always come back to versus the pain in the neck factor of renting, which is totally a pain in the neck. I get it. Play it out in your head. What do you feel like would be more comfortable? Maybe you should just rent it for a year, see how it goes. You could always sell it in a year. And it's 1 year of annoyance of renting and see how it goes. And that'll give you a little bit of a runway. It's Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to make your life, your financial life, a little bit more understandable, a little bit more within your grasp, your control. And I want to remind you all that so much of our financial lives is wrapped up in our emotions, and that's why it's hard to deal with it. So if you think you need some help, then all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know if you would be willing to come on the air live. We do all the other work. We arrange to get you on the air. When I say we, I mean Mark, because he really does the work. While you're on the website, you can subscribe to our new paid service. It's called Jill on Money Live. It's only $35. Let's not go crazy. And of course, you can purchase my book. It's called The Great Money Reset. And The Great Money Reset is inspired by all of you. So I thank you for that in advance. You can also subscribe to our other broadcasts, Jill on Money and Money Watch. Those are podcasts. You should check those out. All right, right now, let's take an email. This is from Kate. She was on the webinar and she said, I enjoyed joining tonight and seeing you both live, and I love the new book. Okay, so listen to this. Kate says, I'll be separating from state government employment with a pension. And she writes, yes, in 5 years. Pension and Social Security at her full retirement age will cover her expenses. That's amazing. As I think about my next path, so she makes a reference to someone in the book, a character. She says, as I think about my next path, I cannot imagine doing nothing. Just enough work to hopefully keep me sane and be eligible to keep adding to my Roth IRA. Therefore, what are questions I need to ask myself and consider specifically related to accumulation locations? In other words, as she's accumulating and decumulating, I think she's basically saying pre-tax, post-tax, and what happens in the next few years. Mark, for the Roth all the way guy, some additional side questions below the stats. Here are the stats. 57, divorced, single, 2 kids. Rent my home, will continue to rent at the same amount for my life, no debt, will power of attorney all set, $800,000 in term, income $150,000, pension, access to government health care for life. How about that? She's got a traditional 457. She makes a contribution of $36,400 a year because she's got a 457 and a 401k. That's a lot. And she's also putting money into her Roth IRA, $7,500. Savings, 30 grand. She's adding a few grand a year. Brokerage, 20 grand. Oh, she's got youngish kids for someone who's 57. She's got 17 and 15-year-olds, both likely private college bound. Some scholarships. She's responsible for 1/3 of the expenses. 529. She's got 30 grand. No family to worry about. Small inheritance later in life. $6,500 a month is her current expense level. So here's the additional question mark. In her 457 401k, she has traditional accounts. She does have Roth options. However, her traditional contributions reduce her expected family contribution for financial aid. Not clear how much of that deduction helps. It will make a difference. In short, what percentage of contributions should be ideal for pre-tax, post-tax, and tax-free? Is there a time before separation from state that I should begin diverting my contributions to retirement to after-tax savings and brokerage? I handle everything myself with index funds. Thanks, and keep up the awesome content. So this is interesting. She's 57 and she said she's going to be separating in 5 years. So in 5 years, she'll have the pension, right? And that will help pay for stuff. She'll need, I don't know if that pension will cover the expenses at the time. Right now, I would pull back. I think she's putting a ton of money into this retirement account. And I think she doesn't need to do that much. I'm not sure what the right amount is on her 150 grand, but I'm sort of thinking that 36.4 seems like a lot of moolah, Mark. I'm thinking that she could pull back to more like 25.
I don't even know if it needs to be that much. And so the way you're reading it, you think she has her pension in 5 years?
Yeah, I think so, because she says, I'll be separating from state government employment with pension in 5 years. And I think she gets the pension in 5 years, right? So she'll be 62. But then when she gets 5 more years, she'll get Social Security. I think she's going to have to spend down some assets until she gets to Social Security. That's my guess. So why don't you try this? And listen, who knows how much about this whole, the family contribution for kids and college and all that. But I think it's better for you to have more money in a brokerage account. And, you certainly could put the money in some 529. I'd rather you have it in the brokerage account. And frankly, if you're looking at financial aid, it's better to be in a brokerage account than 529, weirdly, because they don't assume all the money in a brokerage account is available for college. Right? They look at the 529, they say, okay, that's all for college. So you're going to spend that down. But a brokerage account, they say, well, maybe 10% you'd pay for, a year that you'd take out of that to pay for college. I would pull back. might even say instead of what if we went in half? What if from 36, you went to 18 grand a year? She already has 140 grand in there, and she really only has to, we're worried about 10 years. That's it. I think she can pull back, build up your cash, and then we'll go from there. All right. I hope that helps. Have a financial question? Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click Contact Us. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are answering financial questions that you may have. Let's do an email. This is from John, who writes, I know that the growth or decline of a retirement IRA is a risky investment. It's not insured. It's not protected from market losses by any government or any other financial agency. My question is, can companies like National Financial Services or other service providers who manage IRAs fail like a bank and make your retirement IRA totally worthless? Okay, this is a great question, especially after all the anxiety over the banking sector. So, absolutely true that any institution can fail. So, when we're talking about National Financial, a division of Fidelity, yeah, that is a possibility. But there is protection. And here's what I want you to know. There's something called SIPC. That stands for Securities Investor Protection Corporation. So it sort of sounds like similar to FDIC, but it's not exactly the same thing. So here's the deal. This is a nonprofit membership corporation which provides some backstops against failure. So here are the backstops that we have to consider. Like FDIC, SIPC protects up to $250,000 in cash. It also protects against $500,000 for cash and securities. So if you didn't have any cash in your account, no money market, but just 500 grand in securities, that is protected against failure. Now, all of this being said, what I really need you to hear is this. It is highly unlikely that a company like Fidelity is going under. And if it were to go under, chances are whatever is in that investment account would simply move to a different company that would absorb it. So I don't think you have a ton to worry about, but keep that in mind. SIPC protects you, so try not to lose too much sleep over this issue. All right, that's it. That's hour number one. We'll be back with hour number two. It's Jill on Money.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number two of the Jill on Money show. And I know there's been so much anxiety about the banking sector. I think that we are all reacquainting ourselves with FDIC insurance. And now in the end of last hour, we talked about SIPC insurance. And I want you all to understand that while these are important concepts, the vast majority of our financial institutions are actually in pretty good shape, the big ones especially. And if you are just concerned in general about things in your financial life, that button, that Contact Us button, that will help you out as well, because we'll just bring you on the program and we can try to suss out what's going on in your life. So right now, let's talk to Thomas, who is on the line from New York City. Hello, Thomas. How can we help you out today?
Hi, Jill and Mark. I'm thinking about retiring early, and I want to buy a place in Florida.
Why? Stay in New York. I need you to keep paying your taxes here. Come on.
Well, we would be snowbirds. So.
Okay. So tell us what's the situation and how we can help you out, you think?
Okay. I'm 51.
51? That is so young. Okay, 51. And how old's the wife?
50.
Okay. What do you guys do? Are you like pensioners? Do you do something where you're going to get a fat pension?
We are. I'm a municipal lawyer for the city, and I have a pension coming at 57, which would
What's that amount?
If I retired at 57, it would be $100,000 a year.
Whoo! And what about how early are you thinking about retiring? You said I want to retire early. You mean before 57 or at 57?
Before 57, ideally. Well, I don't want to retire. I want to do financial independence, new endeavor.
All right. There you go. Because I was going to bust your chops about this.
I've been listening to you so long, I knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah. It's like having your older sister there nagging you. I told you, fine, not fire. Okay. So, Thomas, what happens if you were to retire? Let's call it the end of this year, right? It's the end of 2023 and you retire. Then you don't touch your pension, or do you receive a smaller pension for retiring early? What's the ideal here?
Yeah, I wouldn't start collecting until 57. The payout would be less. The good thing is there's a raise coming due, 3% raise, retroactive starting in for 2 years, starting probably in the summer.
Oh, so
Yeah.
if okay, so let's do the numbers then. Let's say, is it the end of this year that you're thinking about?
Either maybe the end of this year or maybe 2024 or 2025.
Okay, so let's see if we can try to do it this year, just because you sound like a nice guy.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's presume it's the end of 2023. You've already turned 51, or will you be 52 at the end of this year?
52 at the end of this year.
Okay, so you're 52. You retire, you don't collect a pension, but then what would the pension benefit be at age 57? What would be that reduced number, assuming you had gotten that raise?
About $80,960 a year.
About 80,690. Okay, so I'm going to say 80K. Now, is your wife also entitled to a pension?
She is not till she's 62.
Okay, from you're 52. Will she be 51 at the end of this year?
Yeah, well, this is the rub. She would keep working, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
So she was part-time from when the kids were young until they're now 19 and 21. So
I love that. Okay, so how much does she earn?
She just went back full-time, so she earns about $120,000.
Okay, so $120,000. So at the end of this year, can you live on $120,000 for the two of you?
We can.
Okay,
yes.
so you can live on that. All right, so I'm kind of like not looking, I know in 5 years, right? At 2028, you collect this 80 grand. Do you think in 2028 she continues to work still, or would she?
No, she would probably retire at 54, 55.
I got it. Okay, so in 2028, we lose the 120, but you get your 80. And then just to be clear, at age 60, what is her pension then?
62, it's about $36,000 a year.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, that would be your 80, her 36 at her age 62, right? But that combined income you guys can live on, right?
Right, yes.
Okay. Would you guys be entitled to Social Security as well?
Yes.
Do you know the numbers for that? Like just full retirement age. Maybe do it at, say, 67.
All right. Mine, I would wait till 70. Mine would be about $4,000 a month.
Okay. At 70, yours is $4,000 a month. What's hers?
She wants to take it at 62.
No. No.
Well,
let's do hers. What is her full retirement age? What's her 67 number?
3,600.
Okay. So you guys are fantastic shape. Once you get to be 70 years old, you have so much money coming in. You won't even know what to do with all of it. So let's talk about how you float this in-between period and what other assets you have, Thomas. So I feel like you're going to totally be able to do this, but you're going to have to maintain two places. Is that what's happening? So do you own your place in New York?
Yes, free and clear.
How much is it worth?
About $425,000.
Okay. And do you plan to keep that because you have kids and stuff?
Yes, the younger one's living there.
You said you kind of want to be a snowbird. First of all, number one, do you own anything else in a warmer climate?
Well, we're looking.
Where are you looking? In Florida, you said?
Yeah, Delray Beach.
Okay. What would you have to spend and how do we finance it?
We're looking somewhere between $250,000 to $300,000.
I'm going to say 300 because whenever anyone gives me a range, I don't know how it ends up sort of floating up to the top end of the range. Do you have $300,000 stashed away to do this? Do you want to, like, are you going to get a mortgage? Like, how do you think you're going to finance this?
We could put like $100,000 down.
100K down. But you're not going to do this. Why would you do this now? In other words, your wife's still working. Can she work remotely?
No.
Why are we buying right now? Should we not buy? Should we just rent for a couple of years and see how you like it?
That's a possibility. I mean, we think the prices are going down with the mortgage rates rising. But then you have the high mortgage rates.
Maybe. We'll see. Let's talk about the assets. Tell me about the assets that you own. So number one, you have money in the bank. How much in the bank?
About $110,000.
Okay. And that's like your emergency reserve, or is that earmarked for the home purchase?
No. Well, 50 is emergency reserve that I have in a high yield savings.
Okay.
Earning about 4%. My wife has about 50 or 60 she keeps separate
Good
she
for
would use
her.
the down payment.
Good for her. Do you have any other non-retirement assets like a mutual fund or stocks or anything like that?
Yes, I have a Vanguard account that's taxable.
How much in there?
About 240,000, the majority in the Vanguard high yield corporate bond fund.
So 110 in the bank, which we have to keep that, just because this transition period anyway. But we got Vanguard brokerage. What about retirement accounts? What else?
My work, I have 670,000 primarily in a 457, about 75K in Roth and target date funds run by Voya. My wife has approximately 500K in a 403B through Fidelity, mostly target date funds. I have 115,000 Roth in Vanguard and another 30K in Roth at Janus Henderson.
Great. So when you said, the first thing you said was 670 grand in a 457, you mean of which 75 is Roth, right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. We'll get back to Thomas in a minute. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click Contact Us if you have a question. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. And we do that in lots of ways. We have this weekend radio show. And if you miss any part of this, you can always go back and listen to it on our website at JillOnMoney.com. And we also have two podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, and the other is called Money Watch. And you can subscribe to those wherever you find podcasts. If you don't know about the podcasting world, now's a great time to figure out how to do it. Just go to our website and we can link you up. It's very easy to do. All right, what else is on the website? We've got the free weekly newsletter. Comes out every Friday. I think that's the perfect warm-up for the weekend show. It's a great way to familiarize yourself with the stories that evolve during the week. And we also have a couple of things that cost a few bucks. So I gave you all the free stuff first, but you can buy my book. It's called The Great Money Reset. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. There are 10 bold steps that help you turn chaos into opportunity. You can also subscribe to our brand new service. It is called Jill on Money Live. When you subscribe to that service, you will have access to quarterly live webinars and lots more special content to come. So I encourage you to check that out. Again, everything is on our website, JillOnMoney.com. Right now, I want to turn back to Thomas, who is on the line from New York City, and he contacted us to talk about early retirement. And if you are thinking about early retirement, I really do encourage you to give us a holler because there are many issues that can be lurking. I mean, it can always feel like, oh, I just want to do this, but we sometimes will raise issues that are important to consider. So that will be a reason that you should come and join us live because we kind of pick through what the issues are. All right, let's get back to Thomas. So interest. So you have a lot of assets. You really do. This is fantastic. Anything else I'm forgetting in this game plan or not?
Yes, we have 85 in my 19-year-old's 529, which he's not going to college.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, so we can roll 35 of that into a Roth eventually. Is there any need for the older one is there any grad school or anything like that?
We don't think so. He's launched as a nurse now.
Oh, God bless him. You know, that was a very smart move. By the way, don't become a doctor now. A nurse is much better. Let's go big picture. You can totally do your financial independence new endeavor. There's no doubt in my mind. Because I don't know how much money you guys are spending. What's your guess on your spend?
About $7,000 a month, but that's before purchasing the new property.
Sure. Okay. But $7,000 a month, we know you can cover, even if you got, like, what would you do for your new endeavor? Something fun, exciting. You wouldn't be a lawyer anymore. It sounds like you have a hard job.
Well, my dream is to work at different tennis tournaments.
Oh,
So I know you and Mark like tennis. And
yes. Oh, okay. That would be fun. That would be
I
great.
work at the U.S. Open now, but pays minimum wage. So other tournaments don't pay.
FYI, minimum wage would be like better than zero. So that would be something.
But I would do part-time work as a lawyer. I think I could pull in maybe 20 to 30 grand.
Let's say that you had 20 grand coming in, right? Your wife keeps working. She's making 120. That's 140. We pay your taxes. And I think you're in good shape. There shouldn't be any problem. Here's the issue. We need to think about the Florida thing. And we really need to think about this. Now, is your wife gung-ho on the Florida thing also or not?
Yeah, but she wouldn't be happy if I was down there and she wasn't. She was
exactly.
working.
So here's what how about this? I think there could be a very good negotiation here. So first of all, if you want it to be done at the end of 2023, you could totally do it. The thing is, I wouldn't say you should buy in that time horizon. I would think only if something like fell in your lap that was an unbelievable deal, like, and you're really looking. And we have not really, I think the prices are coming down, but if we didn't want to soak up all of the taxable accounts that you have, which I really don't think you should do, I'm just saying if you were dying to do it, we could, then we would be waiting to have some sort of magic meeting point between prices coming down and mortgage rates coming down, which may or may not happen in Florida. I would be much more interested in you guys spending some time doing this, like a practice run and renting. And maybe you could get a one or a rental for, not this year, obviously, but maybe next year that you stay, let's get a long-term rental and see how we like it. I mean, you're not going to stay there in the middle of the summer. It's god-awful hot, right? Maybe see if you like it.
I mean, we've been there several times, but not for a long,
I think you have to do it for a long time. I think you have to do it before you plunk down all your money. You might have this great idea. Maybe it's better. Maybe for you guys, the thing that you would really want to do is be true snowbirds and rent. Maybe renting is actually a better thing than buying. Here's what I would do. I would look into renting and see how much it costs, because the cost of carrying a $200,000 mortgage is not that big a deal right this second. But you know what? It's an extra cost, and maybe renting is cheaper, at least in the beginning. Let's see if you like it. And in your mind, would you sell your New York City place eventually and move full time to Florida? Is that kind of the concept?
No, I think we're going to keep it, eventually give it to my younger son.
Give it? He can buy it. What about the other one? How do you balance those two out?
We give him cash.
Oh my God.
We're going to be entitled to a decent sized inheritance, we think, too.
Oh, that's a big change. So here's what I think. I think we do renting in the beginning. You can totally do this. Big picture, you're sweet. It's all good. It really is. Okay. You got plenty of money. You can finance this. Tell your wife not to take Social Security at 62, unless she is not well health wise. But there's no reason for her to do that. It's a permanent reduction. It's a terrible idea. Bad math on that. You can do this. I say rent in Delray in the beginning, see how it goes. And maybe you'll buy, but maybe you won't. Maybe you're going to be like, you know what? Delray is a nice place, but we actually don't want to live there. This just happened to a friend of mine who moved to Miami after doing exactly what you did, was like, hey, this is awesome. I love visiting here. Then living there, they were like, it's too crowded here. We have the same problems of New York City. So they've moved, they thought, oh, I want to be on the beach. It's so cool. Well, everyone wants to be on the beach. So they moved inland a little bit and got more of a golfing community kind of thing. Maybe you want to be in an awesome tennis community. I don't know. But I just think for you, practicing this is going to be a much better thing than just jumping in. So I would take the purchase off the table for right now. I really would. And then eventually you can, especially if you're going to be getting an inheritance, especially if, as time goes by, we'll see whether your wife's going to be cool with you calling it quits after this year. But it gives you a couple of years to just get used to this idea. Then your pension comes in. I mean, everything of this really works. I don't want you to take on the burden of a new Florida residence before you practice for at least a year, maybe 2 years. And again, only if you had the most unbelievable deal of the century plopped in your lap. Hey, my friend's parents just died and they want me to take this Delray Beach place. I said it was going to be $300. They want me to take it for $220 and I'm going to buy it right now. Call me back if that happens. But otherwise, unless it's the deal of the century, no, I wouldn't do it. So besides that, You have everything else done. You're a lawyer, so you have your estate documents, right? You got all that stuff done?
I do.
Okay. The only other thing about the 529 for your younger son is that we want you to leave enough money in, because this is part of the Secure Act 2.0, that we want you to leave enough money so you can roll it into a Roth for him. Okay.
Yeah, I plan on doing that. Thank you.
All right. What else do you need to know from us?
I mean, should I start? I'm contributing 20% to the Roth. Should I start
to the Roth?
stockpiling cash, you think?
I mean, look, you have cash available. You already have $100,000 in cash, and you've got the Fidelity brokerage if you needed it. I think you've got enough cash. And tell me about the inheritance that you think you might be entitled to. Again, I know it's like weird to talk about that, but what do you think?
Maybe 500 to 750,000.
Then I would not stockpile cash. I would use the Roth. If you have a financial question or a concern, all you need to do is get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll do the rest. It's Jill on Money, and we'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here answering your financial questions. Boy, did I get a lot of questions about FDIC insurance, about Securities Investor Protection Corporation, about what protections are in the system. And if you had questions about your accounts, if you're wondering whether you could be impacted by a bank failure, if you just don't know where to turn, I encourage you to check out the website, JillOnMoney.com. And when you go there, you'll see a blog. And oftentimes when there is breaking news, like the kind of roiling upset that we've seen in the banking sector, I'll write pretty extensively about that. So all you need to do is bookmark JillOnMoney.com. I'm likely to write about some big issue that's bubbling up in the financial world or the economy. And then if you've got more questions as a result of reading that blog, all you need to do is just hit the Contact Us button. So again, here's the game plan. You go to JillOnMoney.com, you just bookmark that website because you're going to come back to it. And if you feel like there's something weird and big going on in the world, chances are I've either been on television talking about it or written about it or both. And in the case of this banking situation, it was a big both. If you then feel like there are more questions that are coming up for you in your own life, then you can just hit the Contact Us button. Do you see how that all just went so easily? Boy, I like it when she makes it easy. Okay, let's do some emails. This is from Alonda. Subject says, should I pay off the mortgage? Should I just say no? Okay, let's move on. I'm just kidding. But usually it's a no. Let's see. Alonda says, Dear Jill, I have decided to spend time focusing on my financial assets, which I've ignored for years. Oh, okay, you got time. She is retired, 72, with a pension and Social Security that covers all of my monthly expenses and charities. Holy moly. Brokerage account has $1.5 million. I rebalance it occasionally. I don't really touch it. My 401k has $600,000. I receive a required minimum distribution annually that I use for travel and help with the family. Okay, here's what we got. I have a $138,000 mortgage at 3.25%. I move my cash around trying to get reasonable rates, $400,000. I'm now trying to stay within certain brackets for federal and IRMA taxes. The only debt is the mortgage. I notice you often advise people not to pay it off. I'm wondering if in my situation it could be a good idea. Okay. Well, she may be right. Especially because, the thing is, let's presume of your $400,000, right, that you have, you're moving it around trying to get reasonable rates of interest. Theoretically, I guess, You could reduce the amount of interest you receive, and you could probably pay off your mortgage, and it's not a big deal. So it's not a big deal because you have plenty of liquidity. The 401k, I just want to say one thing is that you say that the Social Security and the pension cover your expenses. Maybe for your RMD, you mentioned charity. Maybe you should be doing a QCD from your retirement account to also limit your tax hit. So you're going to get taxed no matter what on your pension and your Social Security. There's no way to make that go away. The only other place where there are two other places where you can minimize your taxation. One is, yeah, you're right. Some of that cash that's earning interest, you could use to pay down your mortgage, and you're not going to hurt yourself by doing that. The other thing you could do is instead of using your pension and Social Security to make any sort of charitable contribution is you can use the distribution from your required minimum distribution. You can use that. You can bypass have it go directly to a charity, a qualified charitable distribution, and that would actually minimize some of your tax hit. So maybe you do that, and okay, you can pay off your mortgage. I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with paying off mortgages. This is exactly the case, like when you don't have a liquidity problem. That's, I think, very important. All right, here's another mortgage payoff question. This is from Bob. Bob says, I inherited $239,000 recently. It was a very good friend's 401k. What a friend, Mark. Whew. She passed away October 2021. I moved it out of a Prudential mutual fund into a Fidelity money market. Now, I am considering paying off my mortgage. I'm 67. I purchased the house in November 2020 when I was 65. It was the first house I owned. How good for you, Bob. The purchase price was $155,000. I put down 20 grand. I owe 118,000, but the rate's 3%. I still work full time. I'll retire at 70 and a half. My Social Security should be $2,300 a month. I will receive a state pension of about $530. So it's $2,830 of income. Still don't know why you would pay down the mortgage. Your rate is so low. Just one question I have for you, Bob. You had a 401k. You moved it out of a Prudential mutual fund. And you said you moved it into a money market. Did you take the distribution, or is that Fidelity money market a beneficiary IRA and you'd have to take it out over a certain period of time, 10 years? If it's still in an IRA, I wouldn't pull it all out because you're going to get taxed on whatever you pull out of that. If you've already paid the tax on it, it's a little bit moot. I'd love to know more about what else you have saved. You see, this is the opposite of that case we just discussed. Because in this case, I think having access to this money is a very good thing for you. You're going to have income, this $2,800 a month, but you may need this money. I'd be careful before paying that off, okay? If you have a question and you're feeling a little radio shy, all you need to do is just go to the website, jillonmoney.com, and you click the Contact Us button. If you don't want to come on the air, that's okay. But I will say this. When you come on the air, we can always change your name. We can take some of the facts out, and we'll often uncover different things that we might uncover from an email. So that's why I like when you come on the air live. It's just better for everyone. Go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get you on the air. Okay, we'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life, the scary headlines, or anything else that is remotely associated with a dollar sign. All you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. You can just write a note and we'll get it. We'll read it as an email, or make sure you check the box that says you'd like to come on the air live. Then Mark will do everything else. So let's do one of those emails. This is from Anne Marie. Help, Auntie Jill. So I thought I had long-term health care, but instead what I have is a guaranteed universal life insurance policy that has what's called a chronic illness plus rider. The policy costs, let's just call it $3,000 a year. Is it something that I should keep? I don't make that much money, $45,000 a year. So obviously paying this $23,000 for this policy doesn't seem like it's something I should be spending money on. Should I cancel it and invest that money monthly? I've been paying on it for 7 years. I think I had a different idea of what it covers. Well, if you only make $45,000 a year, Anne-Marie, I'm going to presume that you don't have tons and tons of money saved, but maybe you do. You didn't mention a spouse either. So if you are single and you don't mind kind of rolling the dice on having your your long-term care needs met by the federal government, i.e., you would qualify for Medicaid, then you could probably cash out the policy. Yes, you'll have the money. You can invest the money, and the $3,000 a year, you might want to first, don't forget, you got to build up that emergency reserve fund. So make sure you have 6 to 12 months in your very safe money market, savings, checking, short-term CDs, I-bonds, something safe. And then the rest you could start to invest. But I'd love to know a little bit more about you before we start thinking about blowing out the policy. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, so this is from Laura, who is writing about planning for a special needs child. Oh, this is just on the heels of our call with the guy whose daughter had cancer and then had a rare genetic disorder. So here's Laura, who says, my 2-year-old nephew, only child, has just been diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder that causes intellectual and developmental disability. It seems like he will have a more mild version of this, but it will be many years before we know what this really means. They've been told, meaning his parents have been told, the best case scenario is low IQ, but able to hold a job and live independently, though many people who have this disorder cannot. His parents are doing a great job getting him the best care and support possible to aid his development. What are the financial things they should also be thinking about? I don't want to put more on their plate right now, but I would like to slowly encourage them to take any necessary financial steps to ensure that he has the financial support he needs throughout his life. I've already encouraged them to increase their life insurance coverage, which they should have done before or as soon as he was born, since it sounds like they only have the minimal amount through work. So that's a good thing. Yes, definitely life insurance. They will plan to hit their out-of-pocket max on their health insurance every year, which they did last year. Mid-range earner, one of whom will have a pension. Okay, so I think that life insurance is one thing. They need to do estate planning with somebody who has experience dealing with a special needs trust. The reason why you need to do this is that when you have a minor, or, frankly, it doesn't have to be a minor, but if you have anybody who has this kind of a diagnosis, the special needs trust will allow you to put money away for the person in the event of your death, but that trust will not preclude the survivor from receiving benefits to which they'll be entitled. And that's really important because there are robust benefits available when you have this kind of a diagnosis. You don't want to have a ton of money flowing into the hands of this person, and then you say, oh, I don't get any of that government assistance. So number one would be see an attorney who has an experience drafting a special needs trust. Number two, I think it might be helpful if it's just because there's so much going on. Maybe they should see a financial planner, somebody who can really walk them through what they should be doing. And that financial planner might say, hey, you should have a little more cash on hand, or you should absolutely try to use the HSA if you have an HSA. Or, maybe because you have a pension, you don't have to put as much into retirement. Maybe you should be saving outside of retirement. These are the kinds of things that I'm thinking might benefit then. So, it's just an awful thing to have these diagnoses. And you wisely point out that they are absolutely immersed in the world of getting him the care and the support he needs. And sometimes the financial part is the afterthought. So you're such a kind sibling to be helping out in this. And everybody needs that. It's a lot to deal with. I mean, it's a lot to deal with in life. It's a lot to deal with estate planning, that, to have someone in your life who can help you, like Laura, boy, that's really important. If you've got a financial question or a concern, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter while you're there. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. Before we close out the program, let's do one more email. This is from Marissa, who says, I am 71. My husband is 76. We both have IRAs and non-IRA funds. Recently, I moved about 65% of the money into CDs. I was just worried about the market, but now I'm worried about the banks. Any help you can give us on what and where we should be looking to put our retirement money would be greatly appreciated. We're just confused about what financial specialists are saying. Buy gold, silver, buy treasuries, etc. I understand, Marissa, these are very confusing times. So I think the first question that I would ask you is, when do you need this money? You're both at, in the 70s. You probably have to take required minimum distributions from some of your IRA accounts. But with the other money, do you need to access the money? Do you need to pull money out on an ongoing basis? That would really help us determine what kind of allocation would be suitable to you. I mean, if you don't need any of the money and you've got big pensions and Social Security and everything is fine and dandy, then maybe you don't have to have so much risk. But without those details, it's really hard to know how to advise you. I would just be really careful not to be moving your money willy-nilly without really having some sort of game plan. I think this kind of market timing can really come back and bite you in the tush. So I would just guard against that. It really would be great if you could join us live so we could talk through some of this stuff. Okay, that is it. That is the program. I know how hard it is to go through these scary times. That's why we encourage you to come and talk to us. Just remember, JillOnMoney.com. That is where everything lives, all of our information. It's also where you can buy my book and you can subscribe to Jill on Money Live. So go check that out today. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Karen Kranick is our web queen. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. We encourage you to do something nice for someone else today. And don't forget to change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.